Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. I'm back again with AS level math and we are studying a topic of P1. Actually, this is the first topic that I get started with. Which topic is this? That is coordinate geometry. It's about straight line, it's about circle, but my focus is on straight line. So first of all, what I want you to do is that you grab your pen or your pencil. I personally prefer a pencil, and your register, your notebooks and so on, so that you can write things properly. And what we do is that, what you should do is that first of all, watch the video once, and after you have watched it thoroughly, and then in the second time, pause, stop, write, understand and continue. So that is the strategy that you should apply. So for the first time, you should go ahead and watch the video. Maybe one question at a time. And then pause, stop, play, write, understand. So this is a slow process. That means if I take 10 minutes to explain one question, then you will be putting in 10 minutes for watching it. That's your choice to watch it at the normal speed, watch it at 1.5 times the speed. 2 will be too fast. And then the second time, take some more time, maybe like 10 minutes, and you can jot down the details in your register. Jot down every single detail. Keep that in mind. Every single piece of info, jot it down. Because remember what I always say in class, that is omission of essential work. Whatever is necessary, all the steps that I show is necessary. Omission of essential work will result in loss of marks. So we don't want to lose any marks. We want to attain an A star. So therefore, in AS level, it's an A which gradually transfers into an A star in A2. So make sure omission of essential work should not be there. Our focus is that we should avoid this loss of marks. So now let's look at some classic past paper questions. One of them is this one. The question says, the diagram shows a rhombus ABCD. And by the way, I'll be doing 3 questions in one particular video, maybe 2 in one, maybe 1 in the next part. Let's see how it goes. The diagram shows a rhombus ABCD. So this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. The points B and D have coordinates such and such. That's B, that's D. Now that's the way to study. That is, you read, you watch the diagram, you have observed the diagram, and then you read further, and then double check, is all the information written over there? Respectively, that means this is B and this is D. A little bit of English knowledge is also necessary. A lies on the x-axis, that is A. The midpoint of BD is M, that is the midpoint, that's the midpoint of BD. Find by calculation, that means drawing is not allowed, the coordinates of each of M, A and C, and this is for 6 marks. Now first of all, let me do some coloring over here. And first of all, let me label this line over here. That is a very thick line. Let me make it lighter. So this is AD. So now if I focus on this line, therefore let me choose a black marker. That is B, which is 2, 10. And this is D, that is 6, 2. And somewhere over here is your M. So M is the midpoint, it says that. So therefore, the coordinates of M, that is 2 plus 6 divided by 2, 10 plus 2 divided by 2. The concept of midpoint is the average. So this becomes 4, this becomes 6. That is the coordinate of M. That is the first thing. Let me highlight it. So the first thing is done. Now the next thing is that find by calculation. Now first of all, let me draw a line like this. This is AMC. Let me make it a little bit lighter. So this is like AMC that goes all the way over here. Now, one new piece of information that I want to focus over here, you might have studied in O levels, and now it's the time to revise it. That is over here, and let me remove this thing. So now, first of all, that is in a parallelogram, the very first thing is that midpoint of diagonals is the same. That means in this case, the red line is a diagonal, the blue line is a diagonal, so the midpoint of M is the midpoint of A and C also. That is one thing. Now, additional piece of info that you should know. Let me write it over here. That additional piece of info is what? That means in a rhombus and also a square, the diagonals are perpendicular. That's the symbol that I use, are perpendicular to one another. One another is that, let me write each other. So the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. That means BD is perpendicular to AMC. So BD is perpendicular to AMC. Now, first of all, let me find the coordinates of BD. Let me find the gradient of BD, which is 10 minus 2. And this is 2 minus 6. 10 minus 2 is 8. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Divide, you get negative 2. And it also makes sense. You can see that the gradient is negative. Now, the blue line, that's over here. Let me draw it like this. And let me work in a sequence so that you develop this habit. So this is A. Let me write the coordinate as A comma C. It lies on the x-axis. Over here is M. What's the coordinate of M? That's right over here, 4 comma 6. And over here, this is C. We don't know the coordinates as yet. And the gradient of this thing should be gradient of AMC, therefore should be negative reciprocal. So this comes out to be plus half. So the gradient of AMC is positive half. And now I know that AMC, I have A, I have M. So let me write A over here as small a comma 0. And this is M over here, which is 4 comma 6. And gradient of AMC, that is 0 minus 6 over A minus 4 is positive half. Therefore, negative 6 into 2 is A minus 4. Negative 12 is A minus 4. Negative 12 plus 4 is A. Therefore, A comes out to be negative 8. Therefore, the coordinate of A is negative 8 comma 0. Does it make sense? It should. The concept that I applied over here is based upon this. The diagonals are perpendicular to one another in a rhombus and a square. So now over here, this diagonal and this diagonal, it's perpendicular. We have the gradient of this one, of course, by calculation. Negative reciprocal is the gradient of this one. A lies on x-axis, y coordinate is 0. So also, let me write over here, therefore, y coordinate is 0. And this answer makes sense because it's on the other side of the y-axis, and yes, the answer is negative 8 comma 0. And what's the last one? C. That's very easy. Again, we can use the midpoint formula. So now let me add a page over here. So we have A as negative 8 comma 0. We have C as x comma y. We have M as, I think it's 4 comma 6. Yeah, 4 comma 6. So M is 4 comma 6. So apply the concept. Let me do a bit of shading. So this red and this red and this red, they are related. This green, green, green are related. So this is for green. This is for red. For the red thing, I'll write negative 8 plus x divided by 2 is 4. Negative 8 plus x is equals to 8. Therefore, x comes out to be 16. The green thing, the average midpoint formula, 0 plus y divided by 2 is 6. Y is equals to 12. And hence the coordinate of C is 16 comma 12. So now let me highlight the things. That is C. 16 comma 12, that is a negative 8 comma 0, and this is 4 comma 6. To me it looks pretty good. It's a good thing to check the answer. C is 16 12, good. A is negative 8 comma 0, and M is 4 comma 6. So this is all done and dusted. So how many marks have we obtained? So this is 6 marks. So technically I think I'll give 1 mark over here because it's very basic. And then finding either the equation or the midpoint, I think I'll give 1 mark over here for this concept. And over here, applying this thing, I'll give 2 marks for this, and I think 2 marks for this. So that's how 6 marks are obtained. So the first question is done and dusted. Another question. Now these are from the topical book, which you'll be receiving in the next week, inshallah. So now let's look at question number 12. Let's read it first. The diagram shows a rhombus. Now, again we got a rhombus, A, B, C, D, in which A is this thing and C is this thing, and the point B lies on y-axis. B lies on y-axis. So if B lies on y-axis, therefore x coordinate is 0. So the coordinates of B would be 0 comma B. I can write it like this. Capital for the vertices, and for the coordinates small alphabet, small caps. The point B lies on x-axis. Find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AC. Now that's a good one. Now the same kind of question is there, and it's worded kind of differently. So let me first focus on this. That's one line, and this deep blue kind of line is there. And again, it's the concept of that perpendicularity and the midpoint. First of all, is rhombus a parallelogram? Yes. Rhombus, square, rectangle, and rectangle given a push is a parallelogram. So all these technically are parallelogram. That is the first thing that you should remember. And the same thing as over here, where it is over here. For rhombus and square, the diagonals are perpendicular to one another. So that same knowledge I'm using over here. So now it's the same kind of question. A practice for you people. A is negative 1 comma 2. C is 5 comma 4. Therefore, midpoint is negative 1 plus 5 divided by 2. 2 plus 4 divided by 2. Coordinate of M is 2. And this is 3. M is 2 comma 3. Now, gradient of AC should be 4 minus or 2 minus 4. So this is 2 minus 4 minus 1 minus 5. 2 minus 4 is positive 2, and this is actually it's 4 minus 2 minus 1 2 and 5 4. So let me write, double check. Minus 1 2 and 5 4. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. All good, all clear. And this is negative 6. That comes out to be positive 1/3. Always a good idea to double check. Yes, it has a positive slope. Therefore, the gradient of BD. So let me write over here. BD is perpendicular to AC. Therefore, gradient of BD should be negative reciprocal. That is negative 3. So remember the concept of negative reciprocal. It's always a good idea to explain every single step in great detail. So now we have the gradient, we have the midpoint 2 comma 3. So this perpendicular, this is technically the perpendicular bisector. It's passing through M. So therefore, equation of perpendicular bisector of AC is the same as, it's identical to equation of BD. So gradient is negative 3, point is 2 comma 3. The midpoint is 2 comma 3. Therefore, apply this concept, that is y is equals to mx plus c. That can be applied also. So y is equals to minus 3x plus c. And now let's plug in 3. This is 3 over here. Let's plug in 2. That's 2 over here. Let me write it. So therefore, y is equals to minus 3 into 2 plus c. 3 is equals to minus 6 plus c. C comes out to be 9 if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, y is equals to negative 3x plus 9. Now also there is a new concept in the sense there is another format which is called the point slope format for finding equation of the line. Y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. If we have the slope, if we have a point x1, y1, we can apply this and place things where it belongs. So this is x1, this is y1, this is y1, this is x1, and this is m over here. If I plug it in, I'll get the same equation. Let's try it out. So therefore, y minus, there it is, 2, 3. So y minus 3. This is x minus 2. And what is the gradient? The gradient is negative 3. Let's open it up. So y minus 3 is negative 3x plus 6. Y is equals to negative 3x plus 9. And that's the answer. It's your choice. Whether you use y is equals to mx plus c, that is the slope intercept format. Form or format means the same thing. Slope and y-intercept format, that is equally good, or the point slope format, that is equally good. So now this thing is done. Find the coordinates of B and D. Now B is very simple. So now line meets y-axis. Therefore, x is 0, y is equals to negative 3x plus 9. Y is equals to 0 plus 9. Therefore, y comes out to be 9. Therefore, the coordinate of B is 0, 9. And as far as D is concerned, again the midpoint. So, midpoint of diagonals are the same. Whether it's the midpoint for, what's the name again? The midpoint for AC and BD. So whether it's for AC, whether it's for BD is the same. So we have B as 0, 9. We have D as x comma y unknown, and the midpoint is what? I think 2, 3. So again, focus on the colors, the red and the red and the red. That's for the red working. And then the green and the green and the green, that's for the green working. Let me choose a black color. So 0 plus x divided by 2 equals to 2. Therefore, x comes out to be 4. And 9 plus y divided by 2 is 3. 9 plus y is equals to 6. Y comes out to be negative 3. So therefore, this is 4, negative 3. That's for D. Does it make sense? D is down over here. Yes, the x coordinate is positive, y coordinate is negative. Of course, it's not drawn to scale, but it's realistic. And now the area of the rhombus. Now, first of all, let me check the answers up till here is D4, negative 3. So now, first of all, let me highlight it. This is 4, negative 3. This is 0, 9. And this is the equation. They left it in the raw form. And now let's focus on this. Now over here, let me introduce a new thing. So again, it's something brand new, which was not introduced in class. Keep that in mind. So make sure that you have to understand it and naturally jot down in your register. So that is the area formula, area of any quadrilateral, and that also applies to a triangle also. So first of all, the area is half x1, x2, x3, x4, x1, y1, y2, y3, y4, y1. Now this is known as the matrix method. This is known as Heron's formula. Different names are there. So basically we have to focus on the work. We multiply in this order like this. We multiply this way, this way, this way, this way. By the way, what are x1, y1 and so on? These are the vertices. Start from any point and go anti-clockwise. That is the rule. Anti-clockwise. And the first pointer is written last. When we multiply in this order, we add it up. and then we multiply in the opposite order. We also add it up and then we subtract. Let me show it to you. So now over here, we have ABCD. What is the coordinate of A? -1, 2, 0, 9, 5, 4. Hold for a second. -1, 2, 0, 9, 5, 4. And what is the fourth one? The fourth one is 4, -3. Now this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. I can start with any point. So let me start with A. So therefore area, that is half, and -1209, we write it like this, 5, 4 and 4 and -3. So now let me apply in this direction, multiply, multiply, multiply. One other thing which I forgot, let me choose this way, and black marker again, -1, 2 written last. And one other red marker like this. So let me first multiply it out. -1 into 9, 0 into 4, 5 into -3, 4 into 2, bracket closed. And then let me multiply in the blue direction like this, like this, like this, and like this. So this is bracket 0 and 2, 5 and 9. And then we have 4 and 4. Hold for a second. This is 4 and 4. And this is -1 and -3. Close the bracket. Put a negative sign in the middle. And don't forget the half on the outside. Okay? Got the idea? Technically, this is what we are doing. x1, y2, x2, y3, x3, y4, x4, y1. That is this thing in red color. Similarly, x2, y1, x3, y2, x4, y3, x1, y4. That is in blue color. There is a minus sign in the middle. Now simplify. That's all you need. So now let me just make this thing a little bit less congested. And let me take this thing like this. Okay. So now let's work it out. And let me also shift this thing a little bit on the side. Okay. Looks good. So now it's good. So now first of all, this is half. The first bracket minus the other bracket. Now first of all, the red thing. This is 0. It's gone. This is -9, -15, +8. -9, -15, +8. Write down the steps. Over here, this is 0. This is 15. 5 times 45, my bad. 4, 4, 16. And this is +3. All good, all clear? So I think I made a mistake. And I'm not going to re-record it. That mistake is, I told you to take it anti-clockwise, but I think I took it clockwise. So now, by mistake, if vertices are taken clockwise, just take magnitude of the answer. So it doesn't make a difference at all. So now over here, this one is -24 plus 8, that is -16. This one over here, 45 plus 3 is 48, plus 10, 58, plus 6 is 64, -64. All good? So now -16, -64, we have the modulus, we have the half thing. So therefore, this is half of 80, which comes out to be 40 square units. And let's double check the answer. 40 square units, that is the answer. Now they have done it in a different way. They have done it AC, BD. What is AC and BD? AC and BD, that is the diagonal. So they simply multiplied the diagonals together. So there is another formula, and let me write it down over here. So if it's a rhombus, and this formula, by the way, is not like part of the syllabus. So some people, they use it. So area is D1, D2. where D1 is the length of diagonal 1 and D2 magnitude, that is the length of diagonal 2. So they have done it this way. I personally prefer using this Heron's formula. So stop the video, jot it down, and this can be applied to a triangle also. So let me also explain you this way. If I'm talking about a triangle, this is x1, y1, b is x2, y2, c is x3, y3. The same formula can be used. The half will still be there. Area of triangle, that is half. This half has nothing to do with half base into height. So this is x1, x2, x3, x1, y1, y2, y3, y1. So again, you apply in this order, multiply, multiply, multiply. That is the first bracket. And then multiply, multiply, multiply. And that is the second bracket. And then don't forget there is a negative sign. Don't forget the bracket. Don't forget the half. And that is the area. So it can be applied for area of triangle. It can be applied for area of quadrilateral. So that is again something new which I've explained over here. Now finally we are on the last question, and these 3 questions are perfectly enough for you to try out the other questions. Of course there will be some 5% questions that might be difficult, so why worry? So now this thing over here, the diagram shows a rectangle. So that's a rectangle ABCD. Now this time they have labeled it anti-clockwise, in which the point A is 0, 8 and B is 4, 0, and the diagonal AC has this equation, Find by calculation the coordinates of C and D. Now first of all, we know that rectangle is also a parallelogram. Why? Because opposite sides are parallel as well as equal in length. So that midpoint rule will be applicable over here. Keep that in mind. Secondly, there is this concept of perpendicularity. So if I have this line, that is AB, and over here this is BC, so these two are perpendicular. Got the idea? Now first of all, if I talk about this is one point and that is the other one. So now a little diagrams makes life easier. This is A, 0, 8. And let me just erase it. Hold for a second. This one looks better. This is B, 4, 0. Gradient of AB, that is 8 minus 0, 0 minus 4, 8 over negative 4, that is negative 2. And 90-degree angle is there, that is a rectangle. So therefore, gradient of BC should be positive half. And B is given as 4, 0. So can I find equation of BC? Yes. So this you have to figure it out yourself. Equation of BC. Y minus y1. I personally prefer this method. It's your choice whether to use y is equals to mx plus c or this method. Y minus 0 is equals to half x minus 4. Therefore, y is equals to half x minus 2. That is the equation of BC. So this is BC. That's right over here. All good, all clear. Now look at the green line over here. Where is the green line? This one is the green line. The green line and the blue line, they meet each other at C. So I can find the coordinates of C. So therefore, what I can do is that I can solve it simultaneously. So AC is 8y plus x is 64. Equation of AC, that is 8y plus x is 64. 8y plus x is 64. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2, this is the green one. So now solve simultaneously. So therefore, I'll just use substitution. I'll just write it over here like this. So 8 times bracket half x minus 2 plus x is equals to 64. So that is 4x minus 16 plus x is 64, 5x is 80, x is 16, and y is half x minus 2, y is half into 16 minus 2, 8 minus 2 is 6. And let me write it over here a little bit more clearly, the 6 over here. Therefore, the coordinates of C by simultaneous equation is 16, 6. Let's double check. So C is 16, 6, all good, all clear. Now the very last step, which one is that? That is finding the coordinates of D, that is the midpoint rule. So we have B, we have D, we have A, we have C. So let me first write it down. A is 0, 8. So A is, hold for a second, let me use a black marker. A is 0, 8. And then C is 16, 6. C is 16, 6. And what else we have? We have B, which is 4, 0. So we have B, which is 4, 0. And then we have D, which is XY. So this is technically diagonal 1. This is diagonal 2. The midpoints are the same. So therefore, let me choose this pinkish with this pinkish, with this, with this. So let me first focus on the X coordinate. So the average of the X coordinates is the same, 0 plus 16 divided by 2. That is 4 plus X divided by 2. So therefore, X comes out to be 12. Similarly, if I choose this greenish, no, not this thing, black marker, the green color over here, or let me choose orangish. So this 8, 6, 0, 4. So that is the Y coordinate. So that is 8 plus 6. The midpoint of the diagonals is the same, whether it's for X, whether it's for Y. So this is equals to 0 plus Y divided by 2. And this Y comes out to be 14. Therefore, the coordinates of D is 12, 14. So D is 12, 14, all good. Now, some people, they find this method a bit strange. So let me make it easy for them. So let me just copy this thing. And let me also solve it in one other way. So it's the flexibility that I show in different methods. No, not this thing. Did I copy it? Hold for a second. Okay, now let me copy it. Okay. I think this is a good place. Okay. So alternatively, first find the midpoint of AC. So midpoint of AC, that is 0 plus 16 divided by 2, 8 plus 6 divided by 2. So this midpoint of AC, that is 8 and 7. Midpoint of AC is 8, 7. Now, midpoint of BD, that is M of BD, that is 4 plus X divided by 2, 0 plus Y divided by 2. So therefore, if I say this orange one and this thing should be the same, this pinkish one and this pinkish one should be the same. So let me just write it over here. So therefore, 8 is 4 plus X over 2. 16 is 4 plus X, therefore X is 12. And similarly, 7 is 0 plus Y over 2. Therefore, 14 is 0 plus Y, therefore Y is 14. Of course, you will be getting the same answer. And this is 12, 14. So I think it's done and dusted. This whole thing, whole concept is there. And it's all got all clear. So that is effort on my part for you people. This is pure math P1. And the topic is coordinate geometry. And in coordinate geometry, we are talking about linear equation. That means equation of a straight line. And these are the major concepts that are being tested. What was new in this? First of all, this thing, the slope, point format, the equation of line. Keep that in mind. That was taught new. Y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. And the second thing that was taught new, that was area of triangle and area of quadrilateral using the new formula that is known as the Heron's formula. So these were the new things that were taught in this video. Stay tuned for more on Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. Take care, everyone.